Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin. Y2K stars Jaden Martell and the internet's favorite person of all time, Rachel Zegler. The last night of 1999, two high school juniors crashes a New Year's Eve party only to find themselves fighting for their lives when Y2K becomes a reality. For some of you that might not know this was an actual real fear back in 1999 before the new year 2000 hit, that a lot of people did think that technology would take over the world. And so this is based off some form of real concept and just in a concept way of like, what if that actually happened, which I found very interesting. I'm a big fan of Terminator, so I like that type of sci-fi, like, AI kind of taking over the world. It's kind of fucking happening, but I do like that idea. Hopefully we don't go there, but I do like that idea. And this seemed like it was going to take it into like a dark comedy route where you have like these ridiculous things that come to life, like a fucking, I don't know, race car with a drill on it and it's drilling into someone, which does happen in this movie, which I thought was kind of fucking, I'm like, that's stupid when you think about it, but that's kind of the stupidness I was going in for and wanting because of how ridiculous it is. And those are the parts of the movie I really like. Whenever the movie leads into the ridiculousness and the over top of the film of these things, these electronical things start killing people, I'm like, let's go. This is fun. All right. We're having a great time. And that was like the first 30 minutes of the film. The rest hour of the film is just a slog. The dumbest thing that this movie does right off the bat is kill the two, probably the most funny people in the whole entire movie that actually brought any form of interest into this movie. And I'm not going to get into of who those characters are, but I'm like, okay, well, that was a fucking dumb decision. Then we just follow these other set of four characters who just are just boring and add nothing and have zero chemistry throughout this whole entire film. A lot of this movie is really just them sitting around and talking. There is no urgency in this movie at all. Like, even or sense of care really. Like, whenever these characters' friends are dying in front of them, they have 1 second of moaning and more grieving of their death while the world is ending. They go like, okay, time to move on, and they just they just forget about that they exist in the whole entire fucking movie. Even these kids have parents. Like you see our main lead, Jaden, at the beginning of the movie talking to his parents. Never ever once he ever thought about his parents until literally later on in the film when he sees them before this robot is trying to take over the world. He goes like, oh yeah, I have parents. And it's like, oh, okay, now you suddenly care. It just doesn't really lean into what I wanted from this movie, which is the over-top stupidness that it's meant to be. And whenever it does give me a few chuckles out of it. And I get that this movie probably did not have a big budget or anything like that, but the characters in themselves weren't interesting at all. Because for one, I wasn't really there for the characters, I was there for the ridiculous horror aspect of the film. But that's not what they focus on. They really focus on these characters and try to build them up like they're trying to do some form of character development, but with low effort. Like Jurassic Park has very few dinosaurs in that movie, but the characters in that movie are very interesting. That makes that movie thrive. But here, they just slow down the movie. They're really just asking like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? That's stupid. Why would you do that? That's dumb. That's just pretty much it. There's not that much to dive into this movie. The acting is fine. I just never really cared about the characters. The set piece of it being in 1999 or 2000, really, because it's that crossover point. I mean, like, it felt like the time period, like with the music that was going on in there, and how the characters act in a way. Even a celebrity raptor makes an appearance in this movie that was big back in that time period, and I'm like, okay, all right, they got the feeling of the air down right. It's just really it's really that right. It's a simple concept that they don't really do anything with. It felt like something where it was like a minor little short film or maybe like a high school project that suddenly got like a bigger budget and we're like, fuck, we gotta make this movie longer than we intended, because all we really had was this first 30 minutes of the film that was actually our idea, but now we have to make it into something else that is a lot bigger because the studio gave us more money. That's what it feels like. And a lot of this movie felt dragged. It really did. I'm gonna give Y2K a D-. I'm not gonna remember this movie in T-1 day at all. I mean, and you might have a more fun time if you're drunk, high, I don't know, because there's a lot of high hippies in this movie, so you might have a great time in that way. I was going in to have a lot of fun time with this movie, but I just simply couldn't. None of the jokes were really that funny, mostly because the two characters that were kind of funny, they killed off right away. But I guess the other person next to me disagrees, because that other person next to me while I was watching this movie was fucking laughing at everything. I think she was high, or drunk, one of the two. So you need to go find that person, figure out what she was on to have a good time with this movie, but I just simply couldn't. Anyway guys, thank you much for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye guys.